Hey folks, Craig Danger, vinyl record player. Ho! Here today to tell you about 5 music-oriented or vinyl-oriented YouTube channels that are just absolutely fantastic. But more importantly, 5 artists and or records they introduced to me that absolutely changed the game for me. You know what's funny about that? Could change the game for you. So obviously, you want to be safe though, even with Craig Danger, and buckle up. And we're back. Some of my best videos, oddly, are the ones in which I basically come out and say, hey, you know what? Great channel, these guys. Great channel. Oh. The ones where I point, though, that really kills the ratings, I find, as well. So, we'll see. Today, as I said in the intro, I want to big up 5 channels that I love, but also 5 things that they recommended to me either recently or early on that really changed the game for me. And I'm a watcher for life because of this. Let's start out with something legendary, something classic. One of the best music-oriented channels on YouTube. Obviously, especially if you're into classic rock, you're gonna absolutely die for this channel. I'm talking about Sea of Tranquility. I'm talking about Pete Pardo. Pete Pardo, obviously, this man has been doing this for many, many years. Fantastic stuff. Incredible wealth of knowledge. I can't even believe the amount of stuff this guy's listened to. It seems insane to me that one could store that much information about that many bands. And yet this is what this guy does. He's talking about like new prog records. He's talking about 50-year-old prog records. He's talking about rockers. The man's, he's a literal polymath of the musical game. Well, for me, the real game changer came in the form of this. Hearts on Fire, the Baker Gurvitz Army. Now, I had no idea. I'd heard Cream a bunch of times, etc., and they were fine, but, I never heard the electric sounds of one Adrian Gurvitz. What a player. Great guitarist. This is actually my favorite album by them, the Baker Gurvitz Army. As you can see, Ginger Baker up there. We got the Gurvitz Bros right there. And then this guy, a little bit of a singer in the band. I think it was Spitz or something like that. Anyway, good singer. It was smart of them to bring him in for the 3rd album. But this one's a cooker. I would just turn you as just a taster. If you want a taster of this, look to Hearts of Fire or Hearts on Fire, that being the title track. Woo! Unless you're afraid of just ill, gut-wrenching, wicked riffs of doom, because that's what Hearts on Fire features. Woo! It's a good one. Anyway, I love this album, really kind of the best. There are elements of disco on it, and it's a little bit all over the place. But you know what? I think when they did get a singer, I think he really suits the band. Unfortunately, after this, they would break up. But again, and of course, I've also got this first album, also a really good one. A little bit more subtle, Adrian Gurvitz on the singing and the guitar. But in this one, like I say, they pick up a new singer, and to me, it's kind of the best. There's even a song on here. What was it? Tracks of My Life. Very, very Seeger-esque. Very Bob Seger on this one. But this is a fun record. This record, if you can find it, it's not expensive. You can pick this up for under 10. Good record. Baker Gurvitz Army. Hearts on Fire. This was the first album I bought by them. All thanks to Pete Pardo. Again, one of, I'm going to say my favorite bands ever. But they are fantastic. The Baker Gurvitz Army. And I just want to thank everybody for liking and subscribing. Really helps the channel. The algorithm has been picking up old Craig Danger for a bit here, and it's been very good. I'm starting to pick up subscribers. Loving having little chats in the comments with all you folks. So again, like and subscribe. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. And if it isn't because of you, this doesn't happen. We're going to talk about a gentleman who, this guy is great. If you like rankings and if you like best albums of the year type of videos, this gentleman knows. He's been there. Older gentleman, but fantastic storyteller. Fantastic accent as well. He's from the East Coast of England. His name is Malcolm. You might know him as what? Or maybe you don't know him. But you might know him as what? The Vinyl Monkey. I started watching the Vinyl Monkey really kind of early, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And yeah, just because dude was ranking, I believe he did a best albums of the year starting like in the 60s, ending like in the 80s. He just kept going. And then he split it up some years where he's doing British, and then sometimes he's doing American, British and American on certain years and stuff. Just fantastic stuff. Really, really cool stuff. Now, if you've watched the Danger Channel, you know that, I mean, I do a lot of videos on soul music because I think 1970s soul is the absolute best of the genre. I mean, I think in that early 70s period, nothing really touches it. What did the Vinyl Monkey introduce to me? How about Donnie Elbert? Donnie Elbert with here's Where Did Our Love Go? I actually do have a second album by Donnie Elbert too. Really sort of random singer, very little success. Where Did Our Love Go actually was his only real chart hit. But you know what? Man's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a guitarist. On the other album I have, which is just entitled Donnie Elbert, I believe it's from like 73. This is, I think, 71, 72. At any rate, doesn't matter. Anything Donnie Elbert you get, you see, you should pick up. This stuff is not very common. I remember the Vinyl Monkey showed a best of Donnie Elbert, which I would love to get that too. But you know what? Cover to cover, Where Did Our Love Go? Sounds a hell of a lot like a best of. This gentleman can sing kind of all over the range, but he does some high quality falsetto work. And again, woo, really good. I know 70s soul extremely well. This is what makes up a lot of my collection. But you know what? Donnie Elbert was not there, and thank God for the Vinyl Monkey, who introduced this big dog to me. And wow, really, really fantastic stuff. On the All Platinum label. That's right. Well, I mean, the All Platinum. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Craig Danger? I have seen the All Platinum. No, you haven't. You're a liar. You're a liar. You have not seen the All Platinum. This is the first time I saw the All Platinum label. I mean, I don't know who else is on this thing. Not a popular label. Doesn't matter. Donnie Elbert. If you see any of his records, pick them up. And also, Vinyl Monkey. Subscribe to that dude. Great storyteller. Genuinely great guy. And great accent. He tells great stories and knows just an expanse when it comes to music from the 60s and 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Dude knows his stuff. So Donnie Elbert, the Vinyl Monkey, check it out. Well, I obviously going to have to reference this one. I did not think I was going to throw this one in the mix, but I kind of have to. The man is, in my opinion, a vinyl community legend. One of the most amusing men in the vinyl community. I can only be speaking of one, Harris Pilton. What a gentleman! Always has a bit of a gag, bit of a joke that goes on through his videos. Fantastic stuff. Really sort of dry humor, but also very funny. An amusing British male. You know what? I would suggest that he use that as the trailer on his channel. Is Harris Pilton? He's an amusing British male. Anyway, doesn't matter. Dude's a genius. You need to subscribe to him just because he's funny. And you know what? Frankly, guy's got great taste. A lot of his stuff is 80s. Dude is getting a lot into 12 inches. So he brings up, memories and tells stories about just some fantastic songs. But you know what? He kind of reawakened me to Eddie Kendricks. Most importantly, People Hold On, which I just managed to pick up not too long ago. Woo! I had Eddie Kendrick's debut album, which I don't think it's self-titled. It's good. It's very good. It's around 71. It's the Motown. Again, it's on Tamla, so this is basically probably a British pressing. Eddie Kendrick's early 70s. Here's the thing. You're talking Motown. You're talking 70 to 75. The production is going to be fantastic. The musicians are going to be amazing. It is damn show to be funky. But you know what? People Hold On. Woo! We're taking it to a higher level with Eddie Kendricks on this one. And I think this is by far his best album. Harris Pilton did point this out even not too long ago. But you know what? Woo! I'm glad I picked this one up. You know what? It reawakened a lot of, my listening to that original LP that I have. I also have a third one called something like Smokin' or something like. It's a little disco-y. Unfortunately, Eddie, like every soul star, sometimes got lured to the dark side of disco. And unfortunately, yeah, sometimes it's good, often it's not. But you know what? If you can pick this one up from 72, 73, people hold on. This is his second or third album. Doesn't matter. This one is a winner. Really good cover to cover. A lot of almost sort of, as you can see, there's sort of an African tinge of some great bongo work on this. But all in all, just his best album. Just a phenomenal record. All thanks to the amusing British male, Harris Pilton. Subscribe to him, please. You should. You really should. So Eddie Kendricks, great record. If you don't have this one, highly recommend this one. When it comes down to what people would call the vinyl community, I think there are very few that have the kind of longevity and most importantly, just a kind of like natural flair for doing this sort of business, which is adult males talking about records in front of their telephone. That's right, I just defined it. That's what it is. But anyway, the man I'm speaking of can only be Vinyl Richie. Now, Vinyl Richie, I didn't even really know about. I found out about him through Norman Maslow, and I was like, Vinyl Richie, finally did a search for him. Woo! Great stuff. He's got a huge back catalog of videos. Dude has been doing this forever and ever. And yeah, like I say, he doesn't, he's like an amusing guy, but he doesn't necessarily try to be funny. He just is kind of natural. It's just really good. He's always very entertaining. He likes a lot of music that I'm like, I have no clue, Vinyl Richie. No clue. Doesn't matter. Dude just tells great stories about music. Incredibly knowledgeable. And you know what I will say as well is that he, much like the Vinyl Monkey, did a sort of best albums of the year, starting in the 60s, going up into the 80s. What a project, but again, mind-blowing. And this is where I really got turned on to something that was, for me, absolute and overall volcanic fire. Now that, of course, would be 1969's In a Silent Way by Miles Davis. Woo! 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 Lazy Boo coming out for this particular big dog. Now, if you've not heard this record, okay, keep watching the video, but please open up another browser window or something and get ready to listen to this record. If you're on Spotify, this is there. If you're on YouTube Music, also there. You're gonna have to hear this record. Now, this record is only 2 tracks, and they're long, But you know what? Vinyl Richie, he did a best albums of 1969. And, you know, I was thinking, oh, okay, well, there'll be some Hendrix or there'll be something else. Something sort of, okay, it's classic. I can see how he would do that. And then he wallops me in the face, wallops the danger, straight in the chops. With what? How about In a Silent Way? And you know what? Woo! Cooker of an album. Really fantastic. Completely changed my feeling on Miles Davis in general. I'd always liked him, but this album is, so good. In terms of, yeah, it's hard to explain. It's just a groove. It's just a groove for about basically 36, 39 minutes. Woo, this is a really good record. Yeah, like I say, I basically saw his video. I was up in Canada. It was Christmas. I was hanging out with some family and, you know, went out to the park for a walk. I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll give this a listen. Blew my mind. Still blows my mind. And you know what? In terms of an album, if you're planning to sit down and do some work, do some creative work, you got this one playing through the stereo or through your headphones. Ooh, nothing beats it. Miles Davis In a Silent Way. Again, I'm not a super jazz knowledgeable sort of enthusiast, but I do like some jazz, and this I do consider actually one of the best jazz albums of all time. And certainly, again, you're not looking at an expert. Craig Danger ain't no expert in jazz, and he never said he was. So don't tell anyone that I am, because, yeah, I'm not. Come on. But let me say, Miles Davis In a Silent Way, if you've not heard it, there's a reason why Vinyl Richie, subscribe to him, channel's down there. There's a reason why he really called it the best album of 1969. I'm not sure that I fully agree, but I fully agree this is one of the best jazz albums of all time. What am I going to say? And close out this video with what? We got one guy left. One of my favorite channels. Always watch him. What was funny about this, about selecting John, the 6-inch pianist, who, by the way, I'll put a link to this in the thing as well. I think he was my best Vinyl Community Channel of the Year last year, according to Craig Danger. Craig Danger, he knows something. He doesn't know all, but he knows something. And you know what? John 6-Inch Penis, every week the guy's, he's showing reggae. He's showing reggae 45. There's African stuff. He's got soul. He's got funky. A little bit of disco here. Sometimes like I've seen him throw in a little bit of 90s rock. I'm like, John 6-Inch Penis, why? Doesn't matter. It's fantastic. Dude is very knowledgeable, and he's another one of those guys, these guys who've been doing it for years and years, and it shows. Dude is getting better at what he does, and yeah, a lot of subscribers. But you know what? If you're not a subscriber of John 6-Inch Penis, check the comments, go to his channel, watch his stuff. Again, particularly if you're into kind of that reggae, funk, soul type of stuff, particularly, again, I'm all about the 70s over here at the Danger Channel. But yeah, he knows it. And one of the funny things that when I was, going through these records, I was like, what has John actually introduced me to that changed my world? The problem is he shows so much stuff that's just so rare that it's like, I'm never going to run across that. I'm never going to run into some strange sort of a Jamaican 45 somewhere in Southern California. It's not happening. Not happening for the Danger. But you know what? There was a time, and I don't remember which video it was, when he mentioned one of my favorite singers ever now. I'm talking about Margie Joseph. I'm particularly talking about this album on the Volt label. Phase 2. Phase 2. Really, this is the front cover of Margie Joseph's Phase 2. Of course, the back. Oh, Margie. Looking good, Margie. We know you're looking good. Margie knows she's looking good. Let's be honest. Wow. This album absolutely changed the game for me in terms of Margie. Now, is Margie's catalog just an absolute star-studded, wicked, cover to cover, every song is great for her entire career? No. She's no Aretha. At the time, she was compared certainly to Aretha, and this is, of course, on the Stax Volt label. She would move on to Atlantic, be produced by Arif Mardin, who, of course, produced Aretha, but not as hard church, not as hard gospel vibes coming off of Margie Joseph. But for me, and certainly last year, I would say the big theme on this is the opening track. That Other Woman Got My Man and Gone. Whoa, whoa, whoa. About a woman who basically takes a man for granted, and you know what? Man's gone. You know what? Another woman took him. What is she going to do? You know what she's going to do? She's going to write a song and sing about it and maybe be a little bit sad because she shouldn't have took that man for granted. Anyway, whatever. Margie Joseph, at the time I had heard a little bit of her stuff. I hadn't really got into it. Once I heard this album, John it wasn't that album, it was another album, and I was like, oh, I should check out more of her Stax Volt stuff. Well, this album cooked. It absolutely cooked. And I think it also has My World Is Empty Without You. Again, a rare inclusion of a Motown cover on a Stax record. And she did this a couple of times, actually, I believe, on her first LP as well. But Phase 2, Margie Joseph. Oh, there's Margie in color, looking good. Well, this is her in color. It's a little bit of a duotone, whatever the case. Anyway, John 6-Inch Pianist, check him out. But again, check out Margie Joseph. But particularly those first two albums on Stax, produced by Don Davis. Unbelievable stuff. And yeah, what can I say? That's the funny thing about these channels, friends, is that you start watching, you start picking up some amazing music, and you're like, wow, I just watched some amazing stuff, and I didn't have to watch, Bachelor in Paradise, or something where you're flipping real estate. There's a lot of really great programming, particularly in the music genre, and that's what's so fantastic, I think, about YouTube in general. So yeah. So you know what? Thanks for sticking around with me here. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Is there any YouTuber that you've seen who continually blows you away? You're picking up new records because you're like, oh my God, look at this, wow, oh, changing your world. Because I will say all of these vinyl community and or music people completely have changed my world. And these aren't the only records, certainly, that they did that with. But you know what? They're definitely worth a subscription. So check them all out. But in the meantime, I'm just going to say, I've been Craig Danger, the vinyl record player. And you know what? I'm just going to have to see you on the next one.